Well, good afternoon, and I apologize. Somehow something went a little wrong and I had to reconnect. So it is wonderful to be with all of you again, and I appreciate you joining. And for our newest update, we appreciate all of you as we move forward. And the first thing I'd like to do is I want to welcome all of our furloughed employees back. We really appreciate you making that sacrifice, and we're all glad to have everybody back on campus and ready to go. As you know, we're getting nearer to D-Day, nearer to the day that we will start with students and class and having everyone back on campus. Everybody won't be back at one time, but we'll all be back here at different times. So we're looking forward to that. The first thing I want to remind you of is that you have an email to sign up, and Jen will talk to you a little later about that one, about the testing and making sure you get signed up, and then she'll talk to you about the modular and when it will be available. I wanted to mention the fact that late fees have been moved, and they've been moved in a direction that should help our students. So you will not receive a late fee until after September the 1st, and actually it'll be on September the 2nd. But you have until September the 1st now to pay your bills before you get a late fee. We wanted to help everybody out and make it a little easier as we move forward. We also want you to remind you that we will be asking our students to, as they go to class, and we'll do another campus meeting closer to before classes start so we can have as many students as possible. But we're going to talk about how you go in and out of buildings so that we don't have an awful lot of congestion. And so I want you to be prepared the fact that probably you'll be standing outside waiting on the class to be dismissed. Once the class is dismissed, then you will go inside, so we won't have the halls all congested. But we'll talk more about that, but just an update of what's coming. So the only other thing I wanted to do is to remind you that as we move forward in these things, we want suggestions. We're going to get some questions, and most of your questions we've answered by emails already, but some of the questions will be answered in the presentations that are going to be given here in a few minutes. So, but if you have questions or concerns, please let us know. We will answer them to the best of our abilities. There are some things we can't answer. I know we just got a question, something to do with vaccines. We have no idea how that's going to work. That will be done on a national level. Then it will be done on a state level. So we'll let you know when we know something, but of course, we're just like the rest of the country waiting very impatiently in many ways of doing this. So with that being said, the first person up today is our great facility director and his wonderful crew. All of them have been doing a wonderful job, and we appreciate them so much. So Rob, I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Rob Moyers.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I will be speaking a little bit about testing days on August 11th, the 12th, and the 13th. Kind of what to expect, where to park, where to go. I believe Carolyn mentioned letters will be sent out today if you've not received them, and asking for all of you to sign up for a time for one of those 3 days. And what I'm going to do is just share my screen and kind of walk through where you're going to park and or go depending on which site location or what site you pick. So on the 11th, 12th, and 13th, if you selected the Van Meter site, which is the walk-in site, you will come in and you will park next to the classroom building in the Golden Bear Athletic Center or across the street at Church Street. We have those two locations identified for the testers to be parking at. If those two sites are filled, you can also go across the street and park in the large parking lot behind University Police at the Vale Street parking lot. You'll make your way up to Van Meter. And then what you do, there'll be a queuing line on the outside of the entrance of Van Meter. You'll come in. Someone will greet you there, have you go down the steps, and then at the bottom of the steps, you'll have another traffic person there, and they'll be asking you for your appointment. Did you make an appointment? And if you had your 700 or 800 number with you. Once that information is done, you will be asked to go to one of the 4 lanes. You will meet an information gatherer, collect information from you. That person will then put some items on labels on a package. That package will be run to the person behind, which would be the assistant. They'll ask you to sit in a chair, and the collector will then swab you. They'll put the swab into the package, seal it up, and then you can be on your way. On your exit out, you will be receiving your safety kit. For faculty, for staff and students, you'll receive something that looks like this. For the faculty, you will be receiving a much bigger kit, and this is just one part of the items that will be inside your kit, because you will also have markers and erasers and face shields. From there, you can exit and you can leave right back to your cars. Now, if you've identified the drive-through option, what you'll end up doing is coming down South Canal. You will go down Male Hancock Way, right towards the Life Sciences building. You'll be greeted by a traffic person, and at this point someone will ask you about your 700 number and if you've made an appointment. What you'll do is you'll drive all the way down. At this point, you're going to collect near the hourly parking lot. you're going to get your safety kit early because we don't have a safe way of giving you a safety kit towards the end based on the drive patterns. So at this point in time, you'll be asked if you're faculty, staff, or student, and if you like a mask or gaiter as far as your protective wear. You'll get that item, then you'll drive all the way down the loop, come back up to here, and the second traffic person will then guide you to one of the 5 locations that you'll drive through. So you go to drive 1, same type of information. You'll be asked from the information gatherer. Then they will take your package to the next person. You will drive forward, put your car in park, and then the collector will swab you, and you'll be on your way. You will end up going down Minnesota and go all the way down to Church Street and exit the campus from that way. So we're going to try and keep traffic in a one-directional pattern so that you're not crossing each other. If you have any questions, please follow up in the chat. There'll be more instructions that'll be coming out, and we'll have lots of people on site all 3 days to get you to those locations, get you through the testing process. I appreciate your time today, and I'd like to turn it over to Interim Director Emily Sands. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. I do want to welcome everybody today. And I do want to let you know that we've been working very hard to make sure that plans are in place to make sure that you can have as safe as a semester as possible. One of the things that we have been working on is a quarantine and isolation plan for when our students do test positive. You know, we will be receiving the test results on a rolling basis. You guys will also have access to your own test results. So one of the things that we would like you to do is report those test results to us. So that way we can make sure that we are following up with you in a very timely manner. So students can report their test results in a couple of ways. One of them is to directly contact the Dean of Students office during normal business hours by phone. And you can speak with the admin here, Cindy Hungate, and she can take your information. You can also email techstudentlife@mail.wvu.edu and let us know that you have received a positive test result. Or there's a third way, and that would be going online to the WVU Tech Care Team website and filling out the referral form. There is a special form that has been created that is a COVID-19 referral form, and it will ask a few very simple questions, and then that will allow the care team to follow up with you. Once our office has been notified that you've received a positive test result, you will be reached out to by a member of the university staff and provided an outline of our isolation guidelines. Those will also be emailed to you, so you have a hard copy of them. And this is where the process is going to diverge a little bit. If you're a commuter student, you will be asked to go home and isolate at your residence, and you will be contacted by a member of our care team on a daily basis to follow up with you and to help monitor symptoms and to provide you with resources. If you are a residential student and you have a positive test result, you will be contacted by a member of our housing staff, and we will provide you with a packing list and some moving guidelines, because one of the things we will be doing is moving you from your current assignment in our residence halls to an isolation space. We will provide you a couple boxes to help assist you with that packing, and we will also provide transportation to and from the isolation space. As a residential student, if you wish to isolate at home and your parents are comfortable with that and they wish to come get you, we will still temporarily move you to that isolation space until they can come to campus. And we just ask that you let the housing staff know, and we will work with you on what your next steps will be. One of the other things that we will be doing for all students when they test positive, it will be notifying our faculty or your faculty that you have experienced a COVID-related event and will be unable to attend class in person until that event is concluded. We will also be notifying faculty that you are okay to return to classes when your COVID-related event has been cleared. And the same will go for students that may be identified as a close contact to a positive individual. They will be asked to quarantine, and that same procedure will be followed. And, you know, we will be providing documentation and guidelines on the difference between isolation and quarantine and what resources the university has to help you. And while you are in isolation or in quarantine, please know that you can expect a daily call from a member of the university to check in on you and to see if you need help with anything and to see how you're feeling. And the last thing is that if you do test positive, we do require that you comply with the university's return to campus guidelines, and those will be provided to you at a later date. We plan on having some of these guidelines and the general process outlined for you on our website soon. If you do have any questions, please feel free to contact the Student Life office and we will help you and answer the questions as best we are able. I would like to now turn it over to Joan, to Provost Neff, to talk a little bit about some of the academics that are coming up.
Thank you, Emily, and good afternoon, everyone. I wanted to just fill you in briefly on, this is primarily for the faculty, some sessions that our IT folks are going to hold for faculty who will be teaching in classrooms this fall that have equipment with cameras and the ability to record and Zoom and so forth. We will be providing training sessions or help sessions for people who are not quite confident that they know how to operate that type of video equipment and how to record classes and so forth. Because as was just mentioned, if students are ill or quarantined and cannot come to class, they will be needing to attend class remotely or seeing a recording of a class or a lecture that you're teaching. So we have some help sessions that we've set up, and our IT folks will be presenting and helping people go through them. And we have reservations in Carter 100 for those help sessions. So folks can come wearing masks and so forth, and you can be in the classroom, see the equipment demonstrated. You can also Zoom into it. So we want to be careful. We want to be very cautious about, again, social distancing and also wearing masks. But we also want folks to feel comfortable with the equipment as much as possible. So those dates and times will be sent out in an email to all faculty this afternoon. And because we're limited in terms of space due to social distancing, you will have to sign up for one of those days and times in advance, just to make sure that we're not crowding a room. And we don't have every room yet fully equipped with a camera, but 100 in Carter is. That is not the auditorium, by the way. There's been some confusion about that. That is another classroom. The auditorium at this moment does not have that type of equipment. We're still waiting on it. And this has been one of the issues we've had, is that everybody across the country wants cameras in their classrooms. So when you get this information, go ahead and sign up for a help session, and they'll be happy to walk you through how things work and to give you some guidance about how you go about operating the equipment, and also doing effective presentations when you are on camera or you're using a camera, in addition to maybe slides or PowerPoint or the whiteboard or whatever. There'll also be some guidance about that. So at this point, I'd like to turn the session over to our Jen Wood, who's going to talk to you a little bit more about some of the communications that'll be going out.
Thank you, Joan. I just wanted to share an update with folks. I know that we have several emails that folks have received recently, so just want to give an update. If you did not get the testing sign up email today, it would have gone out from WVU Tech with the email address techrelations@mail.wvu.edu. It allows you to sign up using what we typically use as the housing platform. So don't be surprised when you click on that and it takes you to myhousing.wvu.edu. You'll use your WVU ID credentials to log in, just like you do with other WVU systems. And you'll have to look and see if you are assigned to the Beckley campus. Those assigned to the Beckley campus will be able to select a Beckley testing site. If for any reason you're working on another campus this summer, or you have a class that you took online through the Kaiser campus or Morgantown campus this summer, then your campus assignment would have changed. And that means it won't allow you to sign up for the Beckley testing site. So with that, you'll need to contact the Information Technology Support Services to get that updated. When we send this email out or this video out archived as we do after each of these campus meetings, we'll make sure that all that contact information is available. But if you go to the ITS website, their contact information is on the bottom of the screen. You can also do ITS help@mail.wvu.edu. We had several emails sent to us earlier this morning of students who had taken classes online with Morgantown this summer, and that had posed an issue for them to be able to sign up for those testing sites in Beckley. So they should be able to get that taken care of for you. Once you do sign up, or when you're signing up, you have the choice in the drop-down menu to select the outdoor site or the indoor site. The indoor is the one in Van Meter that Rob mentioned earlier. The other one is the LRC parking lot. So you just select your preference of a walk-up site or the drive-through site. And then you can select your time and confirm your time. If at some point you are ill or have a fever the day that you're supposed to come for your testing, we're asking that you not come that day. You can go in and use that same system to reschedule for another appointment time. If you are not able to get rescheduled for another appointment time, you can contact Gina Grounds in the president's office at 304-929-1228. Her email address was also in the email that went out today, so that you can work with her to get information shared with her so that our medical folks can get in touch with you to try to get a test once you're feeling better. We obviously don't want folks on campus if they have a fever or any of the symptoms that we've shared before related to COVID. Also, after you sign up, make sure that you're checking your Mix account. Even if you're a faculty or a staff member, that confirmation could go to your Mix account instead of your mail.wvu.edu account. So if you don't see it come through immediately after you register for our employees, just make sure that you double check your Mix account or even a spam folder. We haven't had that issue so far, but we always recommend that folks check that. If for some reason you don't get a confirmation or you have any of those issues related to that, you can email techrelations@mail.wvu.edu or reach out to the ITS team, as that is something that they could assist with as well, based upon the technology side of what we're using. Once you're on campus for testing, you are expected to wear your mask and practice social distancing. As Rob mentioned, we will have lines outside of Van Meter, but we will be expecting folks to keep their distance, and we will have staff there helping to make sure that all of us are keeping our distance and staying as safe as we can at the site. You will need your 800 number when you sign up for the testing dates. And you will also need to have that with you when you come to the testing site. We've had some questions about what is the difference between my employee number and my 800 number. Those are two different numbers. The employee number is something that they use in HR. The 800 number is something we use kind of system-wide related to the WVU ID system. So that's the number you want to use, the longer number, the 800 number. So just be mindful of that when you go to log in to sign up for your testing date. If that has been an issue and you've been using your employee number, that could be why. If you have any issues of technical nature related to signing up for testing, please contact Information Technology and they can support you through that. Again, if you have any questions about testing, testing scheduling, please email us at techrelations@mail.wvu.edu. On to the module about COVID-19. That is going to be released to employees and students to utilize later this week, and that will go out via email. Deadlines about when that is due and more information about that module will be provided in the email when that goes out to campus this week. Also, an email you would have received today is related to the COVID-19 dashboard and WVU's data set related to COVID-19. So all of those details are in that email, but I just wanted you to be aware of that email in your inbox. And since we are all navigating lots of new things as we prepare for coming back to campus in the fall, we're going to be working on a series of videos that helps you kind of walk through visually of seeing what some of the spaces will be like. For instance, one that President Long mentioned that she would like for us to do, and we're happy to share that, is what can I expect in the Bears Den this fall and how will that work? So once Sodexo folks are ready to go, we'll get in with them and do a quick walkthrough on a video and share that with members of our campus community before classes start, just so folks know what to expect. And we'll be doing a few of those on different parts of campus so that folks can be prepared. And finally, along those lines related to support and preparation for the fall, we know that some of our spaces are small, and so we want to minimize queuing and minimizing folks in small spaces. So we've established the Golden Bear Information Station that will allow students to be able to get access to the help that they need from Office of Student Accounts, financial aid, talent and culture, a variety of areas on campus, and get that support that they need. So a new website has been built. You can check that out at info.wvutech.edu and get information about how we're serving students this fall to make sure that they get connected with those offices. This website will help you schedule appointments with these areas on campus so that you can get your questions answered and get the support that you need. We will continue to provide excellent customer service to our students. We just have to make sure that we're keeping our distance and trying to stay out of the really small confined spaces. So this is going to give us a way to do that. In addition to the website, a phone number, and a vanity email address to be able to ask questions, we will also have, for 2 weeks, the first of the semester, we will have an area in the Learning Commons that will actually be staffed, that if you have technology issues, you're not able to connect via Zoom or phone to the financial aid office or things like that, you can come to the Golden Bear Information Station in person and talk to someone to help get an appointment set up and get the support that you need. And again, that will be inside the library in the Learning Commons, and we'll be ready to assist you. So we're excited about that project. We're so excited to see folks and be back on campus. We're ready for testing. We're ready for all of us working together to prepare for the fall and to have a great fall together. So with that, I will turn it back over to President Long.
Thank you, Jen, very much. And thanks to all of you for your report. As you can see, we're continuing to move this forward. We have lots of information we wanted to get to you. And as Jen said, we decided we'd do some short videos to kind of give you an idea of some of the places on campus of what to expect and how it's going to be different. So those will be available on our YouTube channel, and just keep checking to see, because as we make them, we'll put them up. And so some, I think at least 1 or 2 of them will be available by this afternoon sometime. So with that being said, as I said, I know a lot of you have had questions, and a lot of you've had questions about some things, and we've tried to answer those by email if possible. Some have been answered in the presentations today. And I know that I got a specific question, and I think it speaks to some of the issues that we're dealing with. It was a question of why can't we have in-person meetings until the 31st? Why can't we schedule them to then? And just like a lot of things we are doing, we've never gone down this road before, and we're learning as we go. And we felt it was very important to make sure that we understood the process, some of the issues we're going to deal with. We're probably going to have to tweak some things. And we really wanted to get a few days in before we had to worry about and look at what was important to our students. And we want to do that is for them to have in-person meetings, but we want to do it safely, as safe as humanly possible. And we can't make any promises, of course. So what we're going to do is we're waiting till the 31st, hoping that we've worked out some of the other kinks that we may have, and then we will start down that road. And so before then, of course, you can continue to Zoom. That certainly is fine, but we really want to wait until then to make sure we've got a good handle on how things are going. The other thing I noticed today that we were doing is you may have an 800 number, but you also may have a number that starts with 700. So don't be thrown if it is a 700 number or an 800 number. It'll just depend on when you were hired and some of the classifications. So want to make sure that we're clear on that we don't get confused about that one as we go down the line. Last but not least, as I said, this is new territory. We're not the only person around that's plowing new territory. We've got all the colleges around us that are opening. West Virginia State will actually be opening on the 10th. Their first day of classes will be the 10th. We'll be opening on the 19th. I believe Concord and Beckley, Bluefield will be opening sometime around the same as we are. So as we move forward, guys, we need everybody to work together. We need you to let us know if you see something that maybe we could do differently. We're open to this. If you only knew how many meetings we've had and how many things have changed. So I'm sure there's going to be something we forgot or something we can do better, and we're all willing to do that. But we also will need you to follow the guidelines. You're going to get this great new mask that says WVU Tech. And I look forward to seeing you in person now, even if it is behind a mask. I look forward to seeing you in person and having a real conversation at a distance. So for all of you, I thank you for all of the hard work that you have done so far. I know there's more work to be done. Students that are on this conference call, I can't wait to get to meet you or see you again, whichever it might be, as we go down this road together. So with that being said, I hope all of you stay safe, have a good week, and we'll be getting back to you just before classes started so we can catch you up on all the new information. Thank you and have a great day.